Hey everyone, Duke here, and today we are going to talk about how to complete Atheon Challenge in the Master version of Vault of Glass. All of these strategies will work doing Master Atheon without Challenge as well. There's just going to be a few extra tips and strategies if you're doing the Challenge. Starting off with the mod setup, as always, you're going to want to have Taking Charge as well as Protective Light if you have these mods. Protective Light is going to give you that 50% damage reduction whenever your shields break if you are charged with light, and you're going to use Taking Charge because whenever you pick up orbs, that will give you that charge with light you need for Protective Light to proc. Under class item, you're going to want to use Particle Deconstruction and Focusing Lens. Pretty much that's what you're going to want to use anytime you're fighting a boss this season. Particle Deconstruction is going to give you that damage bonus when using fusions and linear fusions, which we are going to use. And Focusing Lens is going to allow for stasis and any target affected by stasis to give you bonus damage when you use light abilities. The thing is with this light abilities, as I've mentioned a few times in the past, if you're standing in a well, which you will be, you are going to get all of your damage converted to light ability damage, as long as you're not using stasis. That's why we like to make sure that we're not using Reed's Regret if possible here, just because you do not get that Focusing Lens buff, as it is stasis, and converting that to stasis damage is not actually light damage for Focusing Lens. Another big mod to use here is going to be Concussive Dampener. This is going to allow for any AoE effect damage to not hurt you as badly, basically. You can also think about using something like Solar Resist here, as there are a lot of Harpies, and they hit pretty damn hard with their solar shots. However, the Flying Harpies in the back can also do void damage. There's a lot of different damage types you'd want to cover. I personally like to focus on Concussive Dampener and just focus on making sure I kill the Harpies. A lot of the concussive AoE type effects are just going to be things that I can't really avoid and will be kind of needing to tank, so I want to make sure that I can do so with Concussive Dampener. A few extra mods to consider are Linear Fusion and Fusion Ammo Finders, Linear Fusion and Fusion Loaders, and same for Scavengers, Linear Fusion and Fusion Scavenger, which this is just a all-in-one mod, so pretty easy to use here. Also, if you want to be a team player and have the space, Powerful Friends can allow for anytime you become charged with light to make other allies become charged with light to help them out with their Protective Light builds. There is also Radiant Light, which allows for casting your super to cause nearby allies to become charged with light, which during the damage phase, you're all going to be together, you're all going to be popping supers, so this is another great mod to use if you have the space and want to help out your team a little bit. In one final raid-specific mod I would highly recommend if you have raid armor and the place for it is Precise Oracle Disruptor. This is going to allow bows, hand cannons, linear fusion rifles, scout rifles, and sniper rifles to deal additional damage to oracles in the Vault of Glass. The main thing here is honestly going to be scout rifles. For sniper rifles, especially if you're running high impacts, only running one of these is still going to make it a two-shot unless you're just crazy underleveled potentially, then it might be more than that. But if you happen to either be running a scout rifle or need to switch to a scout rifle at any point, this is going to make a multiple shot difference in breaking those oracles. In terms of weapon loadout, I like to run a sniper in the kinetic slot, Succession being a great option here. I like to run the Plug 1 fusion rifle as it is arc and can allow for breaking arc shields easily, as there is match game in Master Atheon. And then I use Sleeper Simulant as my heavy of choice and going to be my main DPS option. I would say for sure between your energy weapon and your power weapon, you're going to want something arc, again to help break those arc shields. There's quite a few options in terms of damage. Again, something like 1K can work well. I prefer not to use reeds, again, just because of the stasis effect, but Threaded Needle can be a great option here. Plug 1, as I already mentioned. Salvager's Salvo's arc, and not a fusion, but still quite strong. Main ingredient is again arc. Well, Composure is not arc, but a fusion, and then there's also Cartesian Coordinate, which does some great DPS, but again is not arc. So you'd want to make sure to pair that with something arc if you're using something that is not arc in your energy slot. In terms of supers, you're definitely going to want somebody on Well of Radiance Warlock. A Stasis Hunter is going to be great to apply that Focusing Lens debuff. Bubble will be nice potentially for both during damage phase and potentially for surviving after damage phase. Thunder Crashes are also super duper great for Titans, as they can help in terms of actual damage. Thunder Crash is outstanding for damage. If you have a ton of Warlocks, a Nova Bomb can be outstanding as well. Make sure if you're running Nova Bomb that you're running bottom tree. If you're running top tree Slova Bomb, you're going to end up probably blocking a lot of people's shots, and it might not even get to the target. Chaos Reach also isn't a bad plan. The only thing is this is going to be a much longer use super, and you're not going to be able to also get weapon damage off. It does a lot of damage, but I still prefer either Nova Bomb, or if you have the option, just run Thunder Crash. Before beginning, I like to make use out of the Permaflag, which basically allows for you to grab the flag during the encounter. This is actually really easy to pull off on Atheon, as you will want to make sure everyone has full ammo and supers first, wiping if needed, and then with a sniper, or get the box just within one shot of popping, aim at the box and start planting the flag. Once the circle is almost complete on the flag plant, shoot the box and you should start the encounter with the flag still there and ready for later use. Getting into the actual encounter, you will want to set up the team 3 on left and 3 on right to take on harpies as usual. Any harpies that come close should be killed, but leaving one flying harpy up on both sides will stop any more from spawning. As the text pops up for you to get teleported, kill the remaining harpy on both sides, because as long as you wait for that teleport text, these harpies will not respawn until after the damage phase. And trust me, those flying harpies, even just one of them, can really wreck you. If you're doing the challenge, each player that gets teleported can only kill 1 oracle for each phase. There's 3 rounds of 3 oracles, so each teleported person will end up killing 3 total oracles, 1 in each round. Let's break down what each group of 3 should do during this next phase. Starting with the 3 who got teleported, immediately call out what side you got teleported to, and make sure someone also immediately grabs the relic. Out of the 2 who don't have the relic, one person should call that they will take the first oracle, and just make sure that the 2 non-relic holders know who's going to shoot first and who's going to shoot second, as a lack of communication here can really mess things up. The relic holder will always take third oracle in this strategy. As a team, kill the gatekeeper and the few surrounding adds as you move forward to the far side of the map. You want to do this as quickly as possible without getting yourself killed in the process. Also ensure that you don't accidentally die to the explosion of the gatekeeper after it dies. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen more than once. Once you get to the far side and turn around, you should have already gotten the callouts from the outside team, as well as know who is taking which oracle. Each player will only shoot their own separate oracles here. Note that if for some reason you get a late start to killing these oracles, you can shoot your oracle and prep it before it's actually your turn to kill it. Just make sure you don't shoot it so much that it actually breaks it out of order. If using a sniper, 1 prep shot is safe, while I usually do 3, maybe 4 shots of scout rifle to prep safely. Each of the remaining 2 rounds will be the same, with each player shooting in the same order. And you can move to the side if needed to get cover from the shielded Minotaur until it unaggroes your team when it spawns. One additional tip I'd highly recommend is that on the 3rd round of shooting oracles, and one of the main reasons I prefer to have the relic holder shoot third, is to have the first 2 players immediately leave through the portal after killing their respective oracles. This will allow for them to be set up for DPS phase faster, as well as makes it easier for the relic holder to do one single cleanse once they make it to the DPS area and cleanse both their teammates and themselves all at once, rather than trying to do it at the portal and then they go through the portal and then you try to cleanse again and then everybody gets lost, and it just makes it so much easier for everybody to just already be at damage phase and you cleanse one time. If you're comfortable with the timings as the relic holder, you can even wait an extra second or 2 before killing your final 3rd oracle to buy your teammates a couple extra seconds to get in position for that DPS phase, as the 30-second Time's Vengeance timer doesn't actually start until the 3rd oracle is destroyed on that 3rd round. Just make sure to not wait too long and accidentally wipe the team. That's definitely not worth it. Now for the encounter from the point of view as a member of the outside team. The first thing you'll want to do is to make sure you know who is going to make the callouts for the oracle spawns. I always focus on the oracles first, because if no one sees the order, it's a complete guess of the order to stop the wipe, and more times than not, it's going to be a wipe. Simultaneously, you'll also want to make sure that the inside team calls out what side they're on, and make sure that one of your 3 team members on the outside goes to open up the respective portal. All of this stuff so far should be the same as normal mode, but a big thing on the outside is just how hard the enemies can and will hit you. Getting the portal open quickly is extremely helpful, as you can often get the portal open before the adds, especially the supplicants, really even push up into a dangerous area. The middle island is going to be a safe area for your team to use for making callouts, as you can see the oracles from there, and the wall on the left side of it will protect you from the adds to your left. Just make sure that the flying harpies, which if you've followed the strat, are dead on both left and right, and then from there the only enemy that can hurt you is going to be the 2 shielded harpies that come up near the right side Venus portal. So make sure to take those out whenever they come up, and you'll be fully safe when making the callouts and getting ready for damage phase. For the actual damage phase, I've tried both damaging from the portals as well as damaging from the middle island. Both can work and work very well, but I found it a little easier in terms of survival and consistency when damaging from the middle island. Make sure that the well gets placed down ASAP, get stasis on the boss if you have it, and place a bubble in the back corner if you have it. Get your damaging supers and heavy off into the boss, potentially even 2 supers if you're fast enough, and for whoever gets detained, have them go up in front in the little left corner crack as shown in the video. If anyone does happen to go down either during or right after damage phase, just make sure to clear ads and get the safe res. You do not want to have 1 res turn into 2 or 3 or even more tokens used, so take your time and make sure you get a clean, safe res off once all the enemies that are in your dangerous area are dead. After damage phase, using any supers to give yourself some of that breathing room from the ads is going to be extremely helpful. Even thunder crashing into a pile of ads can be extremely beneficial, as the super will disintegrate even exploding harpies, keeping you safe from any you directly kill. Just make sure you get out of there if there's any that didn't die to your super. From here, it's a rinse-repeat battle until Atheon has been defeated. Do remember that the flying harpies will be back after the damage phase, so try to get them down to 1 on each side again once the immediate coast is clear. And also don't forget to use the Permaflag if you're low on ammo or supers after the first round, or you can save it for after the second round if you don't need it right away as well. And if at any point you run out of sniper ammo if you're running double special, just remember you can quickly switch off to a scout rifle in order to have ammo to kill both harpies and oracles. If you're looking for a team to run Master Atheon Challenge this week, I'm planning on doing helps this Wednesday and Thursday on my stream at twitch.tv/DukeIsCool. And if you're watching this later in the season, I'll be doing at least a day or 2 of helps on this challenge when it comes back around as well. I hope this strategy breakdown video helps some of you out, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.